Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
About as
And
ready as okay, yeah.
you'd be as ready as what?
As ready as I'll ever be.
That's
I'm
good.
drinking coffee, so
Because we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fascinating People. We're here with Yami. Um, and we were trying to figure out technical issues. Those have been the bane of my existence, like the past 5 days. I'm usually Johnny on the spot with everything technical, and then I've been having nothing but problems for the past few days. And I think I passed that psycho spiritual funk of technology to you today.
apparently, camera just doesn't like me. Or I
Yeah.
just found out that I was trying to get myself dolled up and said, nope, fuck you.
It's always when you look really, really good that the camera's not going to work, or I mean, this will date how old I am. Where the flash is out of batteries.
Hey, at least I was smart and took a picture of myself because I was really proud of my makeup.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
So
true.
yay! I don't look like a total monster. Yay.
I do. I do. I was showing Yami before we went live. I had a reaction to the Dracula makeup, so I that's why my saturation is turned way down. It's because I'm just covered in a face rash. Eh.
I was thinking of Red Lobster, but Red Lobster decided to have patches of white. So you're
Mm.
like, I don't want to eat that.
Okay, that doesn't make me feel any better.
I mean, I'll suck on it, but I don't want to eat it.
I feel that way about a lot of things, to be honest. Um,
Ah,
yeah, damn. Dude. Okay, so just before, like, I mean, we could do this however you want to, obviously, but just as an
I'm
aside,
just
do
along for the ride. I'm good at riding it out.
do you? I'm sure you do. Are do you eat lobster?
I haven't eaten lobster in so long. I think I ate it like once, and that was when I was out in San Diego. So, but
Mm,
after that, mm, nah.
I
I've had
can't.
Red Lobster from Red Lobster. Well, not Red Lobster from Red Lobster, but I've been to Red Lobster.
Oh, sure.
So,
Cheddar Bay biscuits. Mm-hmm. Yes,
fuck
please.
yes.
Oh my God.
I could
Uh,
probably eat those.
I
Just
can't eat
eating.
I can't eat lobsters. I can't. I it
Shellfish allergy?
No, I love shellfish. It's that well, if there's something that has lobster in it, it's cool, but
Hmm.
they look disgusting. And even when they take the lobster and they cut off the tail and they cook the tail and they bring it to you, I can't eat that.
You know what? What you should try next time is in Minnesota, there's this truck, like food truck, that makes macaroni lobster, and it's so fucking good.
Macaroni lobster.
Yes.
Is it macaroni inside a lobster tail or is it macaroni with lobster in it?
It's just macaroni with lobster in it, like homemade macaroni with lobster in
I
it.
bet that's
I don't
probably
know if
really good.
yeah, I don't know if he has his own place now, but he was featured on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives.
Sure.
So,
I
so
don't
good.
know. I don't know. I've just when I was growing up, I was really weird about seafood. But now that I'm much older, I'm kind of like getting obsessive about it.
I'm I can't stand like shrimp. I don't know why. It reminds
Really?
me of artichokes, and I don't like artichokes or anchovies or anything like that. It's the texture. It's just slimy.
Now, an
I don't like it.
artichoke and an anchovy are very different.
I don't like either one of them.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. 'Cause
It just reminds me of those two, and the smell. It's like, mm-mm.
I mean, okay, I do enjoy artichokes, but I don't actually. I've never been able to understand how people can like anchovies. Hey, here's this stinky, nasty tasting fish that is so fucking salty. It's like 3 days worth of your salt intake to eat fucking one of them. Ah, what the fuck?
And I feel like it has like hair in it. I don't know why, but I always the last time it was because I lost on a Yu-Gi-Oh duel during at a church lock-in that I had to eat an entire can of anchovies. It was so nasty. I felt like I was about ready to barf. And then I cursed my brother because he's the one who helped me build the deck. And I wanted him to him the god cards that he had, but
Uh-huh.
no, he wanted to be a dick.
Okay, so now I'm still reeling from like the during a church lock-in we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh and I lost a duel and had to eat stinky fish.
Yes.
That's fucking great.
Um, I those are one of those things where I during the time that because we grew up a Christian family, so I
Hmm.
did the whole or the lock-ins, the church gatherings. Um, there's till jummies, ummies, and that's because I was Methodist. So it's Junior Methodist gathering, and then ummies is like regular United Methodist gathering for teens.
Okay.
I was all into that, and then I grew up.
Okay. Okay. I got some questions about that too. I've been reading
No,
over the book that you sent me to the questions.
I
Just
know.
for
Oh
people,
God, I just started writing.
it's all good. For people who are wondering what's going on. So fascinating people is my series when I get to talk to some of my patrons that elected the higher tiers, and I really like doing them because part of doing YouTube is I tell everybody about me, but I never really get to learn anything about you. So in this case, I get to interview Yami and learn about her, and it's I don't know, it's I don't know, I love it.
It's fun.
It's
I
great.
like this kind of thing.
Me too.
So
Me too. It's something that I'm the one who ends up being like the basement cave dweller. Like somebody opens the door, yeah. But I have to pretend like I'm that super Johnny cool guy. Like, hey, I'm the YouTube guy. So this way I get to learn about somebody else.
well, what's interesting is usually I'm kind of like the cave dweller too. Like when I'm out and about, I'm really talkative and really happy and lucky. But when I'm at home, I'm like super quiet and just I'm hungry. Give me food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel so bad because I demand Jackie all kinds of food and drinks while I don't feel like getting up.
I There's nothing wrong with that. That's half
So
the reason you get into a partnership, anyways. I
to
can't
ease
reach
me
that.
on.
I can't reach it. Will you go get that for me? Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, then again, someone has to feed Jackie, and I'm the only one that knows how to cook. So
That's true. That's true.
I love you. Okay, play The Witcher. Ignore me. You see how it is.
All right. So you grew up mostly in two places: Princeton and Malacca, Minnesota.
Princeton and Malacca, Minnesota.
Malacca,
It's
Minnesota.
6 miles north of Minneapolis, and I was actually born in Grand Forks,
Mm-hmm.
the Air Force Base. And I love telling this joke. I was delivered by Captain Alan Morgan, so Captain Morgan. I actually did try some Captain Morgan, and it tastes gross.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty nasty.
it is. But they're all like, "Oh, well, then you must be an alcoholic." I'm like, "No, actually, not. No, surprisingly, I'm not."
Hmm.
Despite the fact of who I was delivered by.
Yeah.
And he was, I still remember from my birth certificate that I was born other than December 16th, 1988 at 6:37 p.m.
Okay. 6:37 p.m. That's a bit
Yeah.
specific. I think my mom knew the specifics of the time that I was born, but like I don't know. That was many many years of drugs ago, and I think I've probably forgotten by this point. Um.
My mom was actually 38 when she had me, and my dad was only 29.
Wow. So she was a
I know.
She was a cougar.
She was a cougar. And I'm like, you know what, mom? Good for you.
Yeah. My,
Whatever floats your boat.
I think my mom was either 36 or 37 when she had me. She had me pretty late too.
Yeah. Another thing, too, was a year and 2 days later was when my little brother was born. He was born on December 14th, 1989, while I was born on December 16th, 1988.
So your dad was in the Air Force?
Yes, for 20 years. He was a mechanic that loaded the bombs on the B-2s and I think worked on F-14s and 15s.
Hmm.
He was stationed for 1 year during the first Gulf War in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I actually still have the baby pictures of the day that before he had to leave.
Hmm.
So apparently, I was more interested in this China doll than really saying bye to dad.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I felt so bad, but oh well. It was
yeah.
adorable. It was cute.
So, was he? He was not a commissioned officer though. Like he was just non-com.
Well, no, I think he was maybe just sergeant, I want to say. I
Sure.
mean, he
Yeah.
didn't make it anywhere past E6.
Oh, okay. Sure. Sure. Sure.
And I asked him how come. He goes, "Well, I'm not really that book smart."
Mm,
He was more of a person that worked with his hands. He
right.
loved doing those kind of jobs. So he not very academically smart.
I mean, the nice part about the Air Force too is like you don't necessarily have to be to get pretty up there. I mean, E6 is all right. It's pretty good. And
Right.
means definitely means non-com. My dad retired from the Air Force, um, and he was a chief master sergeant. But yeah, it
Oh
was
no.
interesting. So you're kind of a military brat, kinda.
I am. I'm actually a long, long line of military. My I think grandfather was in the army.
Hmm.
Dad was in the Air Force. My oldest brother was in the Navy. I wanted to be Air Force, but at the time during 2008, I think it was just before Obama became president. I can't remember, but during that time, they weren't recruiting. They would not take any more recruits.
Wow.
I know. I didn't think it was that possible, but Navy was like, "Hey, we'll take you."
I mean, yeah, there definitely was a point in time where they were doing everything they could to funnel like Air Force recruits into Navy, into well, because and the thing too with the Air Force is as time has gone on, all the combat roles that the Air Force used to run is now
Mhm.
handled by the Navy,
Yeah,
like all of
and
it.
apparently all the Air Force bases that used to be there, I think Grand Forks is now owned by the Marines.
Is it? Wow.
I think so. I don't know if it's still open or not, but I asked my dad, I'm like, how come I don't see Grand Forks Air Force Base? He goes, well, that's because the Marines have it now. So,
Right, right. Yeah, it's
and
well
if it's still open, I don't know.
nowadays the Air Force is basically just the infrastructure of the military and the drone program,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much.
Yep, yep, yep.
Or if we ever need to drop like a big bomb, but
I hope not. No, please.
yeah,
I just
I'd rather that not happen. That'd be cool.
I just became Omegon's Patreon, so I really don't feel like dying right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
We what about Space Force?
really, Jeff. Jeff.
D-
Okay, I understand that Neil deGrasse likes the idea,
sure.
but could we just call it something else instead of Space Force, please?
Yeah, I would be down with that.
Let's just call it the Federation of Planets. Let's just go full Star Trek. I'll be
You
happy.
we could or we could go straight aliens and call them the Colonial Marines. Although we'd have to go and colonize something first. I guess probably the
Let's
moon.
not give the Marines any more airheaded, egotistical strokes that they already have, okay?
Oof, oof. Hey, listen, they only can fit so many ideas in their head. I mean, these are self-deploying
Yeah, but
sandbags we're
who has
talking
to
about.
transport that shit? We had to transport that, okay? We have to transport the Marines. We have to transport their cute little toys.
My dad made huge fans of the Marines when they'd pass through Panama because
Hmm.
one of his jobs, he was a big radar guy, and one of his jobs was he would go and set up remote radar stations, him and his crew, in places like in Central and South America for tracking drug planes,
Hmm.
and he would take up collections every time he'd go and set one up. He'd take up collections and he'd buy like mini fridges, footballs, DVD TV combos, bunch of like TV series on V8 or on DVD. So anytime the Marines would move in, they'd have like this fucking paradise that they got to live at in 6 months in the fucking jungle. So my dad made a lot of friends. Every time we had a barbecue, a lot of Marines.
Nice.
Yep.
Um,
A lot of meatheads.
when it comes to Marines, in my experiences, we try to. Well, I got along with most of them because I was a bosun's mate for the
Okay.
Navy. And so my division was First Division. And
Mm-hmm.
on the Rushmore, that was the ship that I served, we worked on topside. Second Division worked on the well deck. where, water would fill up and we get all the eight tracks and ATVs and whatever. I can't remember all of them, but the tiny little boats for the Marines.
Okay.
And but as first division, we had to do crane operations and refuel, replenish, stuff like that. But oh my God, when it came to Marines, they would fill up almost the ship to 1,000. The crew was only 200. The ship itself would fill up to 1,000 Marines,
God
and they
damn.
would just take up everything. Lunch would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
wait for hours on end and be like, screw this, I'll just get a monster, mix it in with Red Bull, and I'll be good for the day.
Making a suicide of energy drinks, though.
Oh God, we lived off of freaking candy bars and suicide drinks.
Damn.
Still love driving that boat though.
Are you still in the Navy or did you?
No, I've been out. I was only in the Navy for 1 year, 3 months, 14 days. And I got out on 9/11 of '09.
Oh, okay. I was about to be like 9/11/01. What? There's
Yeah,
there's a story.
time travel. No. Um, Actually, I didn't even know I was supposed to get out until I woke up that morning. They were like, "You got to get off the ship." I'm like, "What? What?" I thought I had more time, and they're like, "No, you're out." I'm like, "Oh, okay,
Meh.
thanks."
Meh.
Meh.
Is what it is.
So, oh God, I if I could go back to San Diego again, I would. I do miss San Diego. It's a really beautiful city.
It is a really beautiful. It's way too expensive though. Jesus Christ.
Oh, jeez. If I wasn't wearing my uniform, I would probably be in debt.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I don't know if there's even is there base living down in San Diego?
There, there is base living. I think it's I don't know how much because I lived off ship.
Okay.
But I know one of my friends had to have like two or three roommates
Mm-hmm.
to afford the base living, but
Oh, so you
the
wait,
apartments were
wait,
nice.
wait, 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 wait. You had wait. Hang on a second. In San Diego is so expensive they charge rent for base living.
I don't know, but he had two or three roommates in there, so I would have to assume.
Oh, that's fucked
So,
up.
um, but it's okay. I was able to sleep for free anyways. I
Well,
just had to take care of a few things for him.
Allie Jane's got an interesting question, and since we're both military brats, and
Okay.
you served, do you think the glorification of military service is a way to ensure families will keep giving their children to old men's wars? That's an interesting question.
I actually do think that. Like, I wouldn't, it's not that I wouldn't recommend anyone for going into military, but it was just for me, it was more of tradition, and I really wanted to do something.
Hmm.
But if you're just going in there for like just for free college or just for, easy living, don't do it because it will mentally mess you up and sometimes physically too. Like my
Right.
dad still has medical problems and the VA just it's an issue. The VA
Hmm.
is not really good right now.
Yep. I mean, my dad, he's a pretty sound mind and body, but he's getting old, and as he's trying to get through, he has to go through the VA for a lot of his medical stuff, and yeah, it's
Hmm.
a bitch.
It
Um,
is.
as far as like the glorification goes, I think you nailed it on the head. One of the things that I think most people don't understand, it comes down to one really basic word, and that's soldier. Like to soldier is actually a statement. It is a real phrase. Is to soldier. You need to learn to soldier. You need to learn to be a soldier. And part of that is not just physical, but it's also mental conditioning. And there's an entire process by which that has to go. So when people join the military for a free ride and they don't understand what they're getting themselves into, to become a soldier, to transform into a soldier, I think that's a really, really disastrous situation. I think that's how a lot of people get fucked up.
And not to mention, if you say, for example, mine, because of my parents' divorce, it has mentally fucked me up. But aside from, your everyday bullying kids and stuff like that,
Sure.
if you don't really have a good like home life, it can seriously make you even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Probably why my borderline personality disorder that I was diagnosed with during the military, but didn't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably why it's even worse now. Well, back then, it's better now, but
Sure.
it's you can have so many mental conditions that you wouldn't even know until after you get out of the military, and they won't even take care of it beforehand or even during.
Right.
So,
Right. I think we really don't understand in modern society very well the military. Like, because
mm,
the military is going to do what it has to do. It has to serve a function. They need to make sure they maintain their recruitment numbers. There are a lot of good things that the military does do.
mhm.
Um, the military has given lives and purpose to so many people that I know, but at the same time, like,
It
you
has a
know,
price.
it has a price. It has a very serious price. I'm very thankful for the experiences that I got living on military bases with my dad, getting to understand military culture. But, uh, like, okay, I wanted to go in. And my dad told me that he would pull every single possible trick he could to keep me from going in at the time that I wanted to go in. And that was
I
specifically
think that was the
around.
best deal that he probably could have done.
Right. It was like everything is popping off in Iraq and shit like that. But I had literally nothing else going on in my life. And he was like, "I'll do everything I can to block this. I'm not gonna let you go if I can help it, because it's not the
Hmm.
same as it used to be."
It,
So,
it even when my older brother Scott, he was in the Navy for all 4 years during the second Gulf War,
sure.
and he couldn't really contact us as much because he was on the, as we call, the shitty kitty, the USS Kitty Hawk. It
Oh,
got bombed. Yeah,
fucking.
it got bombed twice, and he couldn't call and let us know because until after the fact
Mm-hmm.
because of the Gulf War. And when I got in, it was the after effects of the Gulf War, and
Sure.
things were still just as messed up.
It's wild. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that still kind of bothers me a little bit of it though is in my family, because this kind of was like something that some people were talking about in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
for like a generational family thing. My family has always been in the military, always, and it's always the firstborn son that always goes in, signs up for the military. And so my brother did do that, but my brother did not excel. He was not
Mm.
the one between the two of us that was going to excel in the military. I probably would have done really good. So it actually kind of pissed me off, but I'm also glad I didn't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Exactly. And if I hadn't even gone in, actually my dad was against going Navy, and my brothers thought because I was kind of like a pungy kid, I wouldn't make it through the physical aspect. But after I got out, I was like really not super skinny. It was still a little pudgy, but at least I kind of trimmed down a little. I
Sure.
missed being 168 pounds. I'm working on it though.
Yeah.
But
Me
my
too.
brothers were my brothers were super proud that I actually made it through boot camp and boot boot
Butte.
words. What are they?
Butte
But
camp.
boot camp and A school. Oh
Mm.
my God. A school for bosun's mates. Thank God it's only a month because I don't think I could have done the aviation down in Florida, which was, I think, 2 or 3 months.
Well, so explain a little bit more about that. Like, what was the school like, and ultimately, what is this like the practical application for this?
Um, so Marlin Spike is what we call for A school for bosun's mates, which is, we have to learn the rope types, tying knots, dangerous situations that could happen while you're on ship,
Mm-hmm.
um, how to handle fires, how to handle, say, a mutiny or sometimes terrorist attack. It
What?
really depends
Okay.
on what your specific division is going to be taken care of
Okay.
because the first division that I was in just took care of topside of
Right.
the ship.
Right.
Second division took care of the well deck. Third division took care of the internal ship.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to learn the technical jargon, the um, basic medical in case corpsmen can't get to you in time.
Right, right.
Security of the ship, you actually had to learn how to use certain handgun, shotgun, M14, I think we used. M14, 15, 17, I
M16?
can't remember. I never got to use the M14s or 17s because my small stature, I could only handle the basic 9 mil,
Mm-hmm.
and the shotgun kept throwing me off. So they're like, you know what? Here you go. Have a 9 mil. Just use a leg strap. You'll be okay. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah,
Fuck.
that's funny. Oh my god.
So I was actually the shortest in my division, so it was great. This 5'2 3/4" of a woman can't handle a shotgun because she gets bruises and she kept flying off into the floor.
So what do you do in the case of a mutiny? I gotta know.
Um, if I remember correctly, just try to talk the person down. It's kind of like the suicide thing, where if a person is not mentally stable, you try to, talk the person down, make sure they lower their gun, tackle them, push the gun away, and then try to bind their hands or something like that. I
Okay.
can't remember everything, but that's kind of a basic thing.
Got a hog time. They should bring in rodeo cowboys, teach you how to deal with a mutiny.
Surprisingly, we don't use rope to tie them. There's these plastic cuffs
Zip
where
ties.
they're kind of like they're not twisty ties, but
Zip
they're
ties.
the kind where a zip tie, a bigger version of a plastic cup zip tie.
That's cool.
And then you don't use actual cuffs until you're off ship.
Okay, that's fair. Those things are dangerous. I was fucking around. Well, I never used like the actual, the law enforcement ones. I've never used one of those, but I've used like big zip ties and like accidentally getting that shit way too tight around a wrist. Then you're like frantically trying to figure out how to cut it off and shit before you lose your hand.
Right. One of I think the most dangerous thing I ever had to take care of was during an evolution. We were doing a refuel and replenish, and I was on close to the bridge. And when you're doing an evolution where two ships are like kind of going across and beside each other, the only way to know the distance between those two is if we're holding a string with flags.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was on one side of the ship. We have like a group of 6 or 7 people holding this thin line of flags, while the other side of the ship was holding the other end of that line. And so it kind of tells the distance between those two ships. What ended up happening was something during the refuel part where we were getting the fuel from one ship to the other. It broke, so they had to try and move away, but the people who were near the pump and that thick tube where they were getting the fuel, when that thing broke, one person already tried to get it, broke its shoulder. Me, when I was up on the bridge where I was holding the line, it slipped, nearly grabbed my ankle, and nearly dragged me under. But if I didn't have my my blue, it's not exactly a combat knife, but it was like a thicker than a box cutter knife. If I hadn't cut off that, I probably would have went under. Now that I think about it, that shit's kind of scary. But
That's
at the time,
horrifying.
I was just more of, at the time, I was like, okay, I need to get this line off, and we had like 4 or 5 people holding onto my arm, and the other person trying to grab the line. So luckily nothing too bad happened, but the person had to be aired out to take care of his shoulder. So
that's brutal. That is brutal as fuck, man.
That was fun. Yeah, I don't remember if I ever did another refuel replenish again after that. I don't remember.
Oh
but I still remember that was actually my 3rd or 4th before that happened. So
okay, that is pretty goddamn wild, man. I don't know. I never thought about joining the Navy.
Why?
I get seasick like a motherfucker.
Surprisingly, I've never gotten seasick. My older brother did. Like, even though he was on the USS Kitty Hawk that holds like 5,000 people, it was a city on its own. He still
Mm-hmm.
got seasick. Then again, he was security, so.
Yep, yep. It's weird, man. I don't know. I when I was younger as a kid, I always liked fishing with my dad. I always liked, going onto the lakes and rivers and all that sort of shit. I liked being on the
Mhm.
beach. But we went on a deep sea fishing expedition once to go get some salmon out in the ocean.
Mm.
And as soon as we went past those breakers, man, it was. You know what didn't help? It was the smell of a badly tuned engine, just the gas smell coming off,
Oh,
and
I'm
all
sorry.
of this. I still caught the biggest fish that day, but I threw up all over the place.
Aw, yay! But actually, if the ship's like really rocking, it felt really nice because then it rocked me to sleep when we're on our bunkers.
That actually does sound pretty cool.
Hmm.
I kind of want to go on a cruise. I've never been on one. They seem like they're actually kind of affordable, just to experience like that motion of the ocean again.
It's very calming. I think one of the best times on being that ship is when you're doing your 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. watch and just being outside and totally clear sky, calm seas, and it's like one of the best nights you can ever have for watch.
Mm. I bet.
So
Oh my god! I bet when you're out at sea, you can see so many fucking stars. Holy shit!
it is gorgeous. The only thing I wished it would have that Minnesota has was the aurora borealis, and you could
Mm.
see it so clearly. I miss Minnesota.
I
I'm in
thought
Ohio now, and it Ohio has.
That's right. I thought for some reason, like, cause you always talk about Minnesota. For some reason, I thought you were still in Minnesota, but you guys are in
I
Ohio.
wish I was. I wish I
Okay.
was. If anyone's in Minnesota in the chat, I love you guys. I miss you.
Well, somebody said
Ohio is just a bipolar bitch weather. That's all I
yes.
know.
Yeah, I really hate Ohio as a state. I'm not gonna fuck around. Like, I mean, I want to be nice and everything, but that state is awful, awful.
Trust me, you share my same hate. I love the people. It's the state itself I don't like. I mean, it
Yeah,
has pretty spots in Ohio, but
sure.
overall,
Overall, I'm not a big fan. Well,
no.
my buddy Ben from Drunken Peasants, he's from Ohio. He's great. Everybody I've
I'm
ever met from
sorry.
Ohio, they're all wonderful people. But god damn, I've only driven through Ohio twice. It smells. The whole state is stinky. It's stinky. How do you make a whole state stink?
I
How?
don't know. That's the one thing I don't miss about San Diego. When you're stationed and docked, the sea smells so foul.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what happens if I jump over and just swim for a bit? My BM1 just looks at me and he goes, well, we're just going to have to fucking pinch you with a bunch of shots because that's where all our waste goes. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Don't think I want to do that now.
Ports. You don't want to swim in ports.
No. But
No.
if we're out on sea for, I think, more than 90 days or I can't remember if it was 90 days or something, we would actually lower the anchor and you can actually swim. If you're near dolphins, you're safe. If you feel like going out fishing, you can off the dock, stuff like that, and it'd just be a simple kind of like a Sunday or something, an
Sure.
easy day. We had like one beer day, and that was on the 4th, but I was quarantined because I had the swine flu.
You got swine flu?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Back in 2009, there was an epidemic in California about the swine flu. And unfortunately, on 4th of July, I fucking got the swine flu.
That
And only because I blame the pork.
that is a fucking bummer, dude. What the fuck?
Yes, I was quarantined for a week during the 4th of July week. And that was the week that we had beer day, too. I was so pissed.
That's shit awful. Oh my god.
Yeah, it would start off okay when I was driving quotes the boat. I was about ready to take care of like taking over for the next BM, and next thing I know, I'm like, I don't feel so good. Fell down. They had to drag me down to Dr. Her name was Dr. Tuisku, and she was from Minnetonka or somewhere in Minnesota. It started with an M. But she
Okay.
was so sweet. She had to get me quarantined, took a swab. 3 days later, she wakes me up. She goes, "Congratulations, you're part of the epidemic of swine flu." I'm like, "Oh, great, thanks.
I
Can I have some more medicine now?"
knew I could do it.
Are you proud of me yet, Mom?
Yeah, oh my god, that's funny.
So,
Holy shit.
yeah, that was fantastic. Then again, I've always been like a sick kid. So, because when I was still a really young baby, apparently I got sick, extremely sick for 3 days. They didn't know what was wrong. After 3 days, I was completely fine. Scared the shit out of my parents, but
Well, how sick is extremely sick?
apparently it was really high temperature for a baby, and like nothing could break my fever. I don't know.
Must have been the vaccines.
Don't say that. My dad still thinks the vaccine might have caused my little brother autism. I
Oh
love him to
no.
death. I know. I'm like, Dad, please, I love you. And I know you're going to see this interview, but I love you. But that's not how vaccines work. He's like, I don't care. That's what I believe. I'm like, you know what? If that's what you believe, go right on ahead. I still love you, though.
I keep getting this fucking just real quick. I keep getting this alert pop up ever since yesterday because I was doing some crazy stuff with the roundup, like with how I had arranged the technology. Ever since then, I keep getting this this error about a node.exe, and I'm like, do I got some malware? So I don't know. I'm like,
It's your girlfriend trying to contact you.
Which one's my girlfriend?
I don't know. You had so many. There was Horse Lady, Jillian,
Thank
and then
you.
there's Hi, Mims.
Yami says hi.
Hi, Yami.
She says hello.
You were so beautiful yesterday.
Aw, she just brought me a mimosa.
I need more coffee, but Jackie's playing Witcher, and she'll tell me no.
It looks like whatever the problem is, it's something to do with Adobe stuff. So I think I'm safe. I'll just put that away now, so we can not get too terribly distracted by that. But it kept popping up, and I'm starting to get kind of concerned. Like, is all my private information getting leaked out? What's going on with this?
Oh God. Oh.
Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. So here's something fun. I love asking these questions because everybody, well, not everybody's got a good sense of humor like you and I do.
Oh God.
But I asked you, I asked you for some embarrassing stories.
Which one did you pick?
You know what?
I gave you so many.
You gave me 4 of them, and they're all pretty amazing. Each one could lead to a very different conversation than the other. So why don't I let you pick one of those? Do you have them open,
God.
or do you want me to pick?
No, I'm gonna make you pick because fuck you.
Okay. Oh God, 1 and 2 go really well together. I think we'll want to do those together.
Actually, yeah, they kind of like they're the same crush. So.
Same crush. Let's start with this. Okay, so set the scene for us for this story. How old were you?
Okay. I was in between 15 and 16 when we went to Gooseberry Falls.
Oh, I was really hoping this was like a middle school story. Okay.
Middle school story. Nope. This is, well, kind of middle school, high school. I've had this crush. His name was Mitch. I've had this crush since I was in the 5th grade.
Wait, his name was what?
Mitch.
Oh, Mitch.
Mitch Nelson. Yes.
I heard Nudge, and I'm like, who names their kid Nudge?
No.
Okay.
He had blonde hair and the most gorgeous blue eyes ever. He still does to this day, and I'm jealous. But anyways. What do you mean, excuse me? Shut up. I'm telling my story. Go away, Jackie. Shut up, Jackie. Jackie, go away. Yeah, just go away, Jackie. I know your eyes change color and I love them, but Mitch had the most gorgeous blue. Oh, go away. What? I'm sleeping on the balcony? Why?
Uh-oh, somebody's in the doghouse because of old Mitch. Old Mitch coming back to haunt you.
Oh, Jackie knows all about Mitch. But anyways, okay, let me set the story.
Okay.
So I was 15, 16, still this awkward, really socially awkward kid. And we were out in Gooseberry Falls for a youth group event. And Gooseberry Falls is such a beautiful park. It has its own, like, just right when the leaves turn, you have to go during right when the leaves turn, so around the autumn area. And in the morning. It is beautiful. It has its own little waterfall and everything.
Okay.
So we were out on the trails, and it was me, Mitch, a girl named Maddie. She was in the same grade as Mitch. Mitch is actually a grade younger than I was, so. And we were just goofing off, going off the trails, not really following our leader, our youth leader, because we just said, screw it. We wanted to do our own thing. And we're like, okay, so why don't we cut across this trail, go down the hill. It's a little slippery, but we'll be okay. Well, my footing got, as I was going down the hill, my footing kind of caught on a rock, so I kind of slid on my butt.
Mm-hmm.
I stood up. I was wearing my light blue bell bottoms that day. Why did I wear those? And
Light
like...
blue bell bottoms. Okay.
Yes. Because it looked really great on my hips and on my legs. So I love bell bottoms. They're the best. But yeah, I didn't think of anything until we were walking further down because I went ahead of them. And all of a sudden they started laughing. I'm like, what the hell is so funny? I turn around. I'm like, what is it? Did I get dirt on the pockets? Or so I'm like patting and shoving off dirt and everything. They're like, no, you look like you had a shit stain on your pants, on the crack of your pants. I'm like, great. Great. I didn't shit my pants. And they're like, oh no, you shit your pants.
Oh, so wait. So, and Mitch is right there.
Yeah, Mitch was right there. And he's like, did you honestly shit your pants while you were down there? I'm like, no, it was the dirt. It was fucking dirt.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
It was terrible.
What, did he seem convinced?
I hope so. I don't know.
All right.
I hope so. I mean, he was a good guy, but he was like one of those jocks too, so you know how they are.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And oh my god, which leads us to the second story, because this happened on the same year.
Uh-huh.
So, in our youth group, there was me, Mandy, Mitch, a boy named James, James's sister, and Hannah and her brother. I can't remember her brother's name. But anyways, it was James's birthday. Happens to be around, I think, November, December. So we're all celebrating, having cake. And I was talking to Mandy and my cousin Ashley. And next thing I know, I see White, and Mitch shoved a piece of birthday cake into my face. That frosting went up my nose.
Oh!
Everything. It was, it burned. I don't know why he did it until later, because James dared him to.
What an asshole. What the fuck?
I know. And I was actually heartbroken. I was about ready to go in tears, but I quickly kind of like went into the bathroom, washed it off, and tried to like laugh it off, saying boys will be boys. And next thing you know, Mitch was like trying to apologize. I'm like, yeah, I guess I accept.
You should apologize, you dick.
Yeah.
Oh
but the only reason why he apologized was because the youth leader made him.
Mitch, look, I'm just gonna be upright with you on this one. Mitch sounds like a bitch.
I I know, but he was so sweet to me on days where he wanted to be sweet.
He was
And
so sweet to me, and then he attacked me with food.
at least the birthday cake was good, I guess.
I mean, did it taste good in your nose? Like, God, what a dick, man.
I know, I know.
I wanna push James or Mitch over, or whatever the fuck his name is. Jesus Christ.
Mitch.
Mitch.
Um,
Mitch rhymes with bitch.
as far as I know, my friends told me that he's now married with a child and stuff like that. So I'm like, yay, at least he has a happy life. So that's good. Although he did have a drinking problem for a while.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I wouldn't know anything about that either. Jeff?
So I say as I drink my mimosa. Yum yum.
So, yeah, it turns out this is the funny part too. Me and Mitch did talk before I met Jackie, and I asked him, I'm like, did you ever actually like me or what's going on? He goes, I did, but I didn't know how to go about it.
Okay.
That's what I said. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
You didn't know how to go about it? What the fuck kind of answer is that?
I don't know.
Why do people say stupid shit like that? Just admit you were a bitch. That's all you gotta do. I'm sorry, I was a bitch and I was scared. Whatever.
Yeah, I totally think that he probably did like me, but because he was a jock and popular and I wasn't, he probably didn't want his reputation ruined or something. I don't know.
I am so glad. Like, isn't it so nice growing up and you never have to deal with that stupid shit ever again? It's so great.
Until you start work.
Well, okay, look, that's different. Actually, it's really, really not that different depending on where you're working.
That's true. I mean, there are some days where my work can be like high school, but other than that, it's nice.
Yeah, that's true. So, well, speaking of work, so what is it that you're doing right now?
I work at a corporation it used to be called Sterling Jewelers, but now we're Signet. And
Okay.
Signet, what they own Jared, they own K Jewelers, they own Zales, they own Pagoda, they own Pandora, they own Peoples in Canada, and Samuel in Brittonland.
Okay.
Basically a bunch of jewelry stores. Think of the name, and Signet probably owns it. What I do is I look at pretty pieces of overly priced carbon every day.
Okay.
I quality assure the work orders and the jewelry before it's sent to the stores. So any jewelry that you see, I probably QC'd it. Either that or my department did.
Okay. That's like if you really like rocks and geology.
I do.
I do too. Please go ahead.
We do get to see different color stones and stuff, and we do have to. It depends on the stone because we have to quality assure it in different ways. Like for colored stones, we don't have to worry about like diamond testing them, and for diamonds, we do have to diamond test them because legal reasons. We have to make sure the vendors actually put in diamonds. I have to take care of like Neil Lane, Vera Wayne, Levion, any big brands. And now we're having lab created diamonds, so now we have to make a whole new process for that. And it's sometimes a headache, but I do enjoy it. So
Okay. I mean, look, as long as it's something more fascinating than like the most very mundane kind of jobs that most people have, like engaging in a higher science involved in something that has a consumer market is always really interesting to me. Like working on geology and working into like doing the quality testing for stones, that's interesting. There's so many times like I don't know, like I'm fascinated because I really miss having a job, Yami. That's the truth. I'm just kind of like I'm dancing around the whole thing that I really miss having a fucking job.
I don't know. I mean, our department, I do love my department. It's mostly the people that I work with, even though I don't always agree with like certain decisions, but I love the people I work with because it makes the day go by so much faster. And sometimes, when you're quality QC in certain vendors, it does get a little monotonous because okay, this vendor's good, but I still have to do the process. So, um, there are other days, especially now we're in holiday season, so we have to do overtime and we can't take days off. Like we can take like maybe one day off, but those are our blackout dates.
Mm-hmm.
And holiday season can get so fucking crazy. One year we had at least 100 to 500,000 Pandora that had to be shipped out before Christmas.
Pandora.
Pandora is those little beads with the bracelet. It's like $60 and $30 a bead.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Pandora bead bracelet. Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah,
I see what
and
you're talking about.
yes. We also now do pagoda. So I guess you could say pagoda is our new Pandora because we're getting shit ton of pagoda that has to be shipped out as well
Is this
before holiday.
a big thing now? These Pandora bracelet things?
They've always been a big thing, but they're, I guess you could say, not anymore because now pagoda is kind of taking over.
I guess I just don't. No. I don't know. I don't understand jewelry. My sense of style.
Trust me, I've seen some gaudy jewelry, and I'm thinking this could be perfect for Jeff. It has, the Empire symbol, and it's this huge hunk of like ring that looks like you can punch someone's teeth out.
Oh sure.
So,
I mean, I suppose I can kind of see that. That makes a bit of sense to me. But wait, here I'm trying to just. I want to bring up a picture of these bracelets. This is interesting shit. Fuck hand. Ah! Dude. After doing the roundup, I'm brain dead right now.
I know. I was like, oh god, are we gonna be able to do this despite the fact that he did roundup?
Yeah, no, I'm stoked. I'm glad we're hanging out and shooting the shit. I'm into this.
Oh god, me too. Yeah, I those are one of them. Yeah, those are one of them.
I mean, I'd watch it, or I'd rock something like that, I suppose, and like some wrist bling.
No. I think you would be more of the. I actually have one of them. There's a bracelet of the Rebel Alliance, and then there's a bracelet for the Empire, and I'm thinking you're more of the Empire.
Right. Probably. Pandora is more like, I guess you could say, for like women and kids, that kind of thing. Although I don't know why you would give your child a Pandora bracelet that cost you maybe about, I want to say those ones are probably $60 along with a $60 bead. Like each bead costs $60. Right. Jeez.
It is expensive.
I don't know about all that shit, man. I don't know. One of these days, maybe I'll try and develop a sense of taste. But right now, excuse me, today is not that day.
I don't see tomorrow it being either.
Okay, so there was when did you come up with the, like, okay, so we've been talking a little bit on how we were gonna do our interview and just shoot the shit, and you came up with this, what, like 2 or 3 days ago, the Silent Hill situation.
Oh my god.
And my brain lit on fire because here's the thing, one of my favorite things in the world to do when I was younger, I haven't done it in a while because now I'm all old and cranky, right?
I'm not that cranky. I'm more cranky than you, but that's only if I don't have my nap.
I don't know about that. I think I might be able to be more cranky than you. Are we gonna cranky off?
Bitch, please. I can bitch slap you with my crank.
I'm wearing a goddamn Christmas sweater. I'm crazy right now. I might go off.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually aggressively T-posing at you too. No, so before...
And I'm being unaffected because I don't care.
Damn.
You know how savage I can get. Do you want me to be that savage to you?
Destroyed with facts and logic. So, before I got all old and cranky, one of my favorite things to do is to think about, like, survival situations. Mm-hmm. And I thought about all sorts of ones, but yours was, What
how
would
we
you
would
do
survive in Silent Hill.
in Silent Hill?
Yeah, and what would actually cause us to actually go to silent? These are game questions that me and Jackie would talk about all the time. Like sometimes we would go through like a fog thing, and we're like, "Oh God, we're in Silent Hill. What are we gonna do?"
Oh my God!
Or
Can
sometimes we'll hear a siren that stupid tornado testing siren that always happens on the first Wednesday of every month. So, and it just makes me immediately think, Silent Hill. We're
yes,
fucked.
dude. When you really embrace that game, and then something like just hits that Silent Hill trigger, it's so
Mm-hmm.
wild. This was, oh fuck, how, when was this? This had to have been like 2001, 2002 in
When
Portland.
Silent Hill 2 came out.
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was not yet 21. I think I was like 19 or 20 going to work, and I was in Portland, and it was one of those rare moments where the fog was so thick it just like pulled into downtown right off the river.
Mm-hmm.
And I get off the bus. I've been reading the whole time on my way to work, and I get off the bus. It's early morning, and everything's covered in fog. I'm like, what the hell? And then I hear bang, bang, this incredible metal on metal pounding sound.
Oh my God.
My
He's
whole
freaked out.
blood just goes completely fucking ice cold. Ah, no! And I got so
Now-
immediately fucking scared. What it was a pile driver hammering in support beams for a new skyscraper.
Oh
Yeah,
no. Oh no.
it's crazy. That's
See,
terrified.
now the only thing that I have to ask you is because Silent Hill does it only brings you there if you have to be there.
Right.
Either you're guilty or something. What would have brought you there? Like for me, I could probably have been guilty for a lot of things, but I think it would have to be because I need to save someone. That's the only way that I could ever see myself going in there. Like I need to save like either my brothers or Jackie. Other than that, I would not fucking go near Silent Hill.
That's a pretty easy. Yeah, I think that's the more likely one, but I don't know. I think it'd be kind of interesting to like to cross some things over. Like if I was irresponsibly shitty to somebody and they like just petitioned with the fucking evil forces in Silent Hill to drag me over there, you know, like I don't know. Fucking
Ow!
Milo Stewart goes and
Silent Hill because she loves you more than me.
Milo Stewart never got over that really shitty way I treated her back in the day, and she got the Silent Hill demons to summon me. Be like, fuck, I kind of have this one coming, I suppose, a little bit.
Yeah, apparently Jackie would only be in Silent Hill because she would rather be with you than me. Oh, okay, so you're just gonna go ahead and hum that one. Thanks, Jack.
I'm trying to be spicy. I'm trying to learn how to be spicy, but it's not working very well. It doesn't seem very sincere. I don't know. It would probably be, you know, I identify a lot with like the very first Silent Hill. Like, you know, his daughter runs off. He's got to go find him. That's a very visceral, emotional reaction for me because I got a kid. You know. So
yeah, I can see that more too. But for me, it would just I'm trying to figure out exactly how Silent Hill would kind of because each person who goes into Silent Hill, they see things differently. So even if I do save Jackie, what is she gonna see versus what I'm gonna see? Like, how are we gonna figure out to keep each other calm without freaking out at the monsters that we might possibly witness? And they're gonna be
right.
deranged and fucked up.
Yes.
Like, am I going to be able to protect myself and her at the same time? Because I do know how to use a gun. Well, she does too. But are we even going to be able to find any weapons in Silent Hill? Because it's very, very scarce in that village.
It is.
Well, town. More of a town than really a village. And even after we survive it through, like, how are we going to, you know, what are we going to walk away with mentally scarred?
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, if you ever walk away at all, I mean, Silent Hill is, you know, you're stuck in there for fucking ever. That's where you want it.
How would you even be able to walk away from it?
I don't know, man. It's very, very strange. But I do know it's like with any kind of like zombie apocalypse sort of thing. Your first impulse is you want a turtle. You want a turtle. And you want to make sure you're in some sort of easily defensible position. Then you got to make sure you can manufacture some makeshift weapons. How effective these are going to be depends on what you have to defend yourself from. For instance, if it's Silent Hill, there are all sorts of different monsters. Weird skinless fucking dogs, probably pretty easy to defend against. Weird flying flappy things, as long as you're inside shelter, probably easy to defend against. But if Pyramid Head shows up, you're fucked, dude. You're just fucked.
But that's just it. Pyramid Head probably won't show up because you're not, like, that's not your monster. Pyramid Head would have to be someone, well, that's just specifically James. Like, are you going to have your own version of a Pyramid Head, or are you going to have your own version of being sexually repressed by something? You're can't just expect monsters of the same game to be coming after you because you don't even know what kind of monsters you're specifically going to have.
I thought he was in more than one.
He was, but that's only because the creators were stupid. Because, after, I think Silent Hill 4 was the last time the Silent Hill team made those games. The rest of them were by Americans, and we fuck things up. So, yeah, specifically, any monsters you see in Silent Hill 2 is catered to James. Whereas for us, we probably wouldn't even see a Pyramid Head, but we would probably see something, I want to say, similar, or something that's going to be chasing us throughout, only if we're guilty of something. Whereas, like, the nurses that were sexualized because of James sexually repressed because of his wife and stuff like that. Like, are we going to be seeing the same situations? Like, are we going to be seeing monsters that are, like, gory but sexualized as well? Or are we going to be seeing things that are going to heighten our abandonment issues or issues that we might have?
I don't know. Like, okay, now you're asking me to psychoanalyze myself and reveal my innermost insecurities.
Why do you think I like this conversation?
It is a good conversation. It is. You know what I would probably see? This is probably what would happen. Mm-hmm. My manifestations in Silent Hill would probably be manifestations of myself.
Probably.
That I don't like. Because there's a lot. There's a lot about me that I really, really fucking dislike. And it would probably be things that I have trouble controlling. Rage issues.
Mm-hmm.
Problems with self-image. I'm very self-critical of myself, like how I look, how I present.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what it would manifest as.
Surprisingly, mine would be I have a lot of abandonment issues. I also have a lot of issues of self-doubt. Like, do these people actually like me for me, or is it just because I'm so easily nice and they can, like, either use me or something? I'll probably have a lot of sounds. Like, I am easily scared of sounds.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of loud noises because my parents did argue a lot. Even with my stepmom and my dad, they argued constantly. And it's going to be a lot of environmental, which will heighten my borderline, and I would be a nervous wreck.
Sure.
So it will be one of probably the most toughest things I'll have to go through. And probably a lot of military imagery, a lot of other, like, emotional abuse, physical abuse imagery. It will probably be a lot of sound and imagery that will really make things difficult to go through Silent Hill.
Absolutely. I like somebody in the chat was like, in mine, the final boss will be Nazi leader Hosen Jeff. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I think my final boss would actually probably be either a manifestation of all the horrible traits of my stepmom or a lot of horrible traits of my dad. Because I idolized my dad when I was younger. I wanted to be daddy's little girl and everything. But as I grew older, I kind of realized that, you know, my dad was human too, and he did a lot of bad things. a lot of things that he probably regretted, but
Sure.
he's only human.
I think we all do that. Maybe that's the measure of a person is just to make sure that year after year you just do less of that. You know.
It's actually, for a borderline, it is very difficult because we, how do I put this? When it comes to relationships, we always put people on pedestals,
Sure.
and we like idolize them. We enjoy their company. We try to. We're basically always wearing rose-colored glasses, like he's just busy. He'll message me back later or anything like that. But once we start to feel like we're being abandoned, then we start kind of freaking out a little.
Sure.
And to control that takes so much emotional energy, and not to mention mental energy too, because we're running so many scenarios in our head that we just get
Mm-hmm.
physically drained. And it's difficult, but for those who have it, guys, I promise you, with a little bit of therapy and just keep your support system up, it will get better. It's taken me a very long time, but it will get better. I promise you.
Absolutely. This, it's a lot of it is, well, I think a lot of the process for when you're working through something like BPD or various other situations, we'll just call them situations,
Yeah, that's fine.
is really first identifying exactly what it is you need, and then getting
Mhm.
that, like because I don't know what I want to call myself. If I want to call myself a survivor or a victim or whatever, but I am somebody who went through the ringer when I was in high school through mental health and like getting analyzed, poked and prodded, going to a psychiatrist, getting tested by psychologists, put through all sorts of fucking medication, all sorts of shit. And nobody ever, when they were trying to help me, tried to find first the process that would help me. They just thought they knew how to help me and tried to make me do that, and none of it worked. None of it
Right.
worked. You got to find
I
your process.
Yeah, I think with my parents and my stepmom, because she was super religious, she just thought that God will take care of everything. But for my dad, I know. She was one of those people that watched Kenneth Copeland and Gloria, and yeah, yeah, she was one of those people. She was also the kind where she had bipolar and depression, and without her medication, she was a fucking demon. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I still traumatized by that. But still, I think my parents, I want to say they did the best they could with what they had, but I think they were more in denial
Mhm.
that their kids were traumatized and scarred by the divorce. And then, here comes, a stepmother who had all these mental health issues, didn't really take her medication every day, and didn't exactly help things.
Right.
But I think, despite the fact of what we came out as, I'm very glad that I didn't really get into like heavy drugs. I didn't really get into like heavy sex until maybe in the military. I didn't do a whole lot of drinking or drugs or anything. Sex was my vice. um, I'm still kind of a sexualized person. I'm sorry, Daddy. Please don't hate me. I'm sorry, your baby girl is like this, but
I think everybody's a sexualized person. It's just whether or not people are willing to admit it themselves or not.
right. But with everything that has happened, I can still say I'm really grateful for the experience. Well, not for the experiences, because that's horrible to say. I'm grateful that I was able to get through it with my brothers, the support that I have now, and just being part of communities that I believe and trust in.
hmm
So it's just, from what I learned, is every day is going to be either good or horrible, depending on how you want to look at it. And if you just try to make things a little bit better for yourself, then that day will be a little bit better for everyone else. Which is why I love doing my Twitch streams, because I know a lot of people are going to have like horrible days, but at least if they come to my streams, I'm going to be myself and goofy and everything. But as long as you relax and just have a good time, then that's perfectly okay with me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if you don't mind, I kind of wanted to use that as a segue since we kind of started talking a little bit about the religion thing into embarrassing story number 3. But before we talk about it, what denomination was this that you were having to deal with?
My stepmother was I guess, Roman Catholic, but she
Oh,
didn't go to Catholics or anything like that because my dad, I was okay, this is going to be a little weird, but I'm
go for it.
basically a church mutt. I was baptized as a Lutheran from the same church that my dad went to when he was a kid.
I
And I
was
still
I was
remember.
baptized Lutheran too. Yeah, I mean, why are we
Yeah,
so similar? This is fucking wild, dude. It's crazy.
because we're star-crossed lovers. Anyway, um, I was baptized a Lutheran at the same church my dad went to when he was a kid.
Okay.
And then in Malacca, we went to Methodist, and I was confirmed as a Methodist. So
So,
I'm basically a church mutt, but I'm still under Christian
okay, so you baptized Lutheran, then you end up going majorly to a Methodist church,
church.
which they
And
do. They're different. They're
yeah,
actually pretty.
they are completely two different things.
I'm
Like,
trying. I'm trying to actually I'm trying to think in my mind how similar they are. I'm like, wow, they're not.
they're not. They are not. They are two completely different things. And I was confirmed as a Methodist.
No.
So I still have my little book that my pastor gave me, and
Your
he's
little
like, "You ask a
catechism.
lot of questions."
The little catechism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Like, you get a gift, and you get like a little thing that you were confirmed as a Methodist, and they give you like, it's not a rosary, but like a small present. Like, I had like a bracelet that said WWJD and stuff like that, and the book. And the book that I got was, I think, questions about heaven, because apparently my pastor said that you ask one too many questions, but don't ever stop asking questions.
Right. Always ask
So,
questions forever.
yeah, I was always asking a lot of questions, even during school and stuff, much to the annoyance of my teachers.
So, you, baptized Lutheran, confirmed Methodist, then had a Roman Catholic stepmother.
Yes.
And is this how we get into story number 3?
I need to look up story number 3.
When you said "Holy Jesus Christ" as a slur.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. So I was about 8 at the
Okay.
time. I was living in Princeton, and this was when we had to go to a laundromat because we didn't have a washer and dryer. And we were driving. My dad was driving. My stepmom was reading her Bible, stuff like that. And I see this hot air balloon. I've never seen a hot air balloon ever before in my life. And my dad's like, "Hey, kids, check it out." And we're like, "Whoa." And I screamed, "Holy Jesus Christ, that thing's big." And my dad braked, looked at me. He's like, "What did you say?" I'm like, "Holy cow." He goes, "That's not what you said." And my stepmom just gave me the most dirtiest look too. And apparently they were like, "You are not to take the God's name in vain." And I made sure to, well, at the time, learn that lesson, because by the time we got to the laundromat, my dad took me out into the middle of the parking lot, made me get on my knees and beg God for forgiveness for like 15, 20 minutes.
God
Most
damn.
embarrassing thing ever. It was the most, oh my God. I don't think that was the best idea of course of action. Like I said, my dad did the best he could, but
Sure.
some things, mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, some things get a little bit out of hand. Yeah. I mean, I've had quite a few very strange experiences with religion with my parents as well. I don't think my dad ever necessarily was the most religious person on the planet. My dad, during Vietnam, my dad was stationed at Khe Sanh. Like, I think pretty much after anybody goes through that kind of thing, they don't necessarily have the strongest of faiths anymore.
Right.
But my mom, very devout, very, very devout. And at one point, because my mom, much like we were talking about, your mom had you pretty late. My mom had me when she was really late in her life too. She was very out of touch with how teenagers were, and I think the craziest that ever happened with religion and me was my mom at one point when I was being rebellious as a teenager, grabbed me and shook me because she thought I was possessed by the devil.
Oh my God. I had so many experiences with that.
Did you really? Oh my God, please tell me.
Yes.
Please tell me. Oh my God.
So my stepmom, again, Roman Catholic, but when she was off on her meds, she kept claiming that she was being possessed by the devil, or she would grab one of us kids and be like, the devil's in you, the devil's in you, and would shake us repeatedly.
What's with the shaking? Why shake? Why do they do that?
I don't know.
God
I don't
damn.
know. It was. I'm sorry, Dad. I still love you.
Well, I mean, everybody does their best,
Yeah.
We understand now. We're just venting right now. It's all right.
Yes. But for some reason, my stepmom, there was one traumatizing thing that did happen.
Mm-hmm.
My stepmom was off on her meds, and she kept saying that my dad was cheating on her and stuff like that.
No.
And then she pointed at one of us kids and saying the devil was inside of one of us. And she went out towards the family car, and started driving off. But I got a hold of the driver's door. Again, abandonment issues. I didn't want her to leave.
Right.
And I got dragged across the driveway. I still have some of the scars on my chest from that day.
Oh my God.
And for at least a good several feet before I kind of land on the ground, I'm like, don't go. It was, oh my God. By the time she got off of her manic episode, of course she would always apologize and stuff, but we all knew it would happen at least once a month, sometimes twice. So, and then when she was claimed to have the devil in her, apparently Dad had to slap her a couple of times. So that was fun. Or sometimes she would slap one of us kids because the devil was inside of us, and it was.
Man, she didn't watch enough movies, man. There's so many times when somebody gets possessed, you slap them, and you're just hurting the person that they're in.
It was, yeah. So I know all about that.
Yeah.
And every time I watch like something on the roundup, I'm like, this person's not really having the devil inside them. You're shoving a Bible up her ass. Please don't do that.
Wasn't that so great? I was so happy, but like, okay. I found, and I'm not fucking around here, like I saved him. Okay, I saved him, but okay, that's gonna have to stop. What the fuck? I'm getting weird pop-ups. Anyway, so I went through and I found like all these other like weird gross Shivambu videos for the roundup, and I did not play those just so we could play that Bob Larson exorcism video at the very end where I guess he sticks a Bible up her butt. I guess that's what it looks like.
Because as soon as you see that Bible disappear, you don't see it appear in his hand again.
That's right. That's right. Then he's just grabbing her like this and with the cross, and you're like, is that Bible still up her butt? Is that what happened? What the fuck? It's so weird. Very, very strange.
It was. Let's just say I had one too many traumatizing experiences with that, but I
Wait, Bibles up your butts?
No.
Good.
No.
Good.
But we did break a spoon. We call it the whooping spoon. And my brother, I guess he must have done something bad, but my stepmom, at the time we were living in a motel, she grabbed the wooden spoon and she goes, "Come here." And my brother, being, how he is, being the smart ass, covered his bottom with his wrist, and the spoon broke off. So now she had no longer a whooping spoon or the can of whoop ass. So she had to get a metal spoon.
That kind of shit is so crazy, man. It's so crazy. Okay. Well, all right. Here's something I want to know. I want to know the story of how you and Jackie met. That's what I want to hear.
Oh God. So you want to hear something sickening cute.
Yes.
So at the time I was living with a roommate. I had like a 3 bedroom apartment and 2.5 bath. That fucking apartment was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I would always stay in my room and just do my college work and stuff. And my roommate, Beth, she's like, you need to get out of that bedroom. Go meet some people. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I was in Ohio after not wanting to go back home because I separated from my ex-husband. And I didn't really feel like doing anything. But my roommate's like, okay, we're going to sign you up to these different dating sites and phone services. So she did that. I did date like maybe one or two, and I was like, I'll keep the t-shirt. I still have that t-shirt.
Okay.
So I got a free t-shirt out of that guy. So, oh well. But
Wait. Okay. Wait. You went on a wait. Okay, I think
I
my
went
brain.
on a date with this guy for like a week or two.
Uh-huh.
Gave me his t-shirt because I was being really super cute and flirting a little.
Oh, okay. It wasn't like he
And then
was doing like
just dropped off the
promo.
face of the earth.
So it's not like he was doing promo for something and he's like, "Hey, by the way, I try and sell this kind of stuff. You want a free promo T-shirt or something?" Like that's where my brain went.
No, it was his personal blue dragon t-shirt that I really liked.
Okay, all right.
He looked okay off of it too, but I looked better in it, so
Fair.
fair. So yeah, that's how I got a free t-shirt after just dating a guy twice. So,
That's not bad.
but, hey, I thought it was great too.
Did he buy dinner?
Yes, he did. He did. He was
Overall
a gentleman.
win.
He bought dinner.
Overall win. There you go.
Yep. But with Jackie at the time, Jay,
Mm-hmm.
I was on Plenty of Fish, and I simply was scrolling through of people who liked my photo. Jay happened to be the person that liked my photo, and I was only on Plenty of Fish for 3 days.
Mm.
And so I messaged Jay, and Jay thought I was spam at first because my message sounded so generic, which was okay because I kept copy and pasting all my other messages because I just kept emailing people and I was getting sick and tired and my fingers were hurting, so I just copied and pasted certain lines. But Jay answered back, and this was like maybe a week or two before December 31st. And then on December 28th, we just started calling each other and texting and stuff like that. And then on January the 2nd, we went on our first date. We were supposed to go to Olive Garden, but we decided to go with Applebee's. And I'm gonna let you in on something. Jay, when she saw me walk down, she goes, "She's not fat. She's not fat. She's not fat." Before I got into the car.
No. Oh no.
Yeah, she was about ready to give up on the dating scene too before I messaged her. And yeah. So we went to Applebee's and we stayed there for like 5 hours just talking and chatting. And that's when I learned that she was friends with Doug Jones, who, for those who don't know who Doug Jones is, he is an amazing actor. He is your Abe. He is your Pan from Pan's Labyrinth. He does a lot of monsters and such. And apparently she was texting Doug and going, "I'm finally on a date with a beautiful girl." Doug texts back, "So why are you talking to me?"
Nice. Wise words from Doug. Wise words.
Yeah. And so I was actually the first one to kiss her first, right in the middle of Applebee's, because I was like, "I like you."
Oh,
So
Jesus.
I gave her the first kiss and everything. So
And that was 9 years ago, huh?
9 years ago. It's
Wow.
going to be close to 9 years this January 2nd.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. Despite this hard exterior, despite this gruff appearance at times, I'm a big softie when it comes to people meeting each other. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and once my dad sees this, he's gonna realize that Jay is transitioning to a woman. I'm so sorry, Dad.
Oh
We
well.
didn't. Yeah, we. My brothers knew, but because of religion, I was trying to figure out a way to kind of gently let it down to my parents. But yeah, uh, he knows now.
Here's the thing. Jesus said to love. Jesus didn't say love, but only as long as I can't judge you for something I disagree with. That I don't think he ever said that shit. I don't think
Yeah.
he ever proselytized like, "Yea, unto you I say, love thy neighbor and love yourself freely and expressively, except if I for some reason find it distasteful." Don't think he ever said that. Don't think so. I don't think Jesus split hairs, and I don't think we should either.
Nah. Um, Actually, being with Jackie has really helped me grow up as a person too. And,
Yeah.
a lot of people are always asking me, how did you guys, stay together for so long? And how can you be with someone who's transitioning and stuff like that? I'm like, well, that's just it. Jackie is Jackie. I don't really care what gender they are. I
Of
love
course.
Jackie for who she is, and we love each other and we keep communication open. Be as goofy as you can be. Just be stupid.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's so
um
beautiful. That's so sweet. It's man.
yeah, and it also helps that you both play video games too.
That does help.
Like, it does help.
Yeah.
But it's okay to have like different things. Like for me, she likes different games than I do, and for movies. Also, if you guys are going to go to the movies together, make sure you shut off your phones. She has that one rule: if you're going to watch a movie, don't ever have your phone out.
Yeah, yeah. I've been trying to like I mean I obviously I never if we go watch a movie obviously my phone's turned off, but like recently where she's my memory is taking me through X-Files because I
Oh, you are in for a treat.
well
My little brother is such an X-Files fan.
I watched like season 1 and 2, and then around that time is when I moved to Panama, Central America, and then I was off being a dirty punk rocker, so I didn't watch most of it. She watched all of it, so she's taking me through it. I'm kind of wanting to institute the like we don't have our phones out while we watch X Files kind of
Yeah,
rule.
even with TV shows, I am not allowed to have my phone out either. Like, because Jackie is so much into, like, she is a script writer, so
Oh yeah.
as a hobby, so she has already written like so many scripts right now. I think she's up to 6. Um, but she'll read the scripts to me. She'll also, as we watch movies, if we've already seen the movie, then we'll talk a little, but she'll explain like how this scene was done up, how the director could have probably done a scene differently, or what camera angle was best. And
Sure,
I
sure.
just love sitting there and just hearing it because I have no idea what the fuck is going on. But I love learning, so
Absolutely. Well, my God, okay. Mm-mm. So first of all, thank you very much for sharing that with me. I think you and Jackie have an incredible relationship. It's very, very sweet, and it's a delight every time you guys pop in on a hangout or you pop in while I'm doing my Twitch streaming. It's a plus to my day, no matter what, no matter which way it goes. And
yeah. I
I really
mean,
appreciate that.
even when I'm listening to your streams because I do it at work.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, job. I do try to type in as much as I can, but we are allowed to listen to Twitch and stuff, but we're not allowed to like actually be there for too long.
Sure.
And sometimes I'll use my work email. I'll email Jackie and I'm like, Jeff's on, and Jackie will email back. Tell him I said hi.
Oh
So we do.
gosh. All right. So last question. Last
Yeah.
question. We'll round this out. Let's say there is a multiverse. Okay. Now I'm not going to go off what we were originally going to talk about. I'm not going to go off what we
I
were
know,
originally going to talk about.
I
But like,
know, but there is.
so let's say there's a multiverse out there. Okay.
Okay.
And let's say in this multiverse, literally anything can happen. Anything can happen or anything can change. It could be drastic change. It could be a subtle change. It could be any number of literally infinity combinations. And you are in a comedic sitcom that accidentally pulls you through space and time into another version of the universe. What does that universe look like?
I think if I had to change anything, I have to make sure I'm with Jackie. Like,
Okay.
I will immediately find Jackie if I have to, and
Okay.
be like, "You and I are going to be together. I don't care what you say. If I have to hot tag you and love you, I will love you for days."
Fair. Okay.
Another thing is, I think there would probably be a universe where I didn't go to the military, so I would probably have to knock out that person and be like, "Hey, stop being stupid. You'll be okay."
Right.
Make sure you take care of your borderline. We're gonna put you through therapy early. I
Give you a head start.
Yeah. I might have to tell my version to be like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. If you are gonna go into the military, do not fucking get married. There's someone better.
Right.
Yes.
That's a good one. That's a very good
I've
one.
been married.
Mm-hmm.
Second, we're gonna make sure that you are not gonna be like always pleasing for your parents. I know you want to help them out with like finances. I know you want to always be their person to vent to, but we're gonna stop doing that shit. We're gonna grow up. We have a life. Let's see. Maybe subscribe to you a little earlier during your political days. I don't know.
God, no. Ah.
Maybe hit on you a little bit earlier. I don't know. Let's see. Well, I would still go through the Brown Mackey College, even though if they are a private college and stuff like that.
Sure.
Definitely go through college still. And let's see.
You have such thoughtful answers. You know what the only answer like that really came to my mind was?
What?
It would be Earth, just exactly the same as this Earth, except the atmosphere would not be comprised of mostly oxygen and nitrogen, but split pea soup. In which case I would fall through the portal and all of a sudden drown immediately while everybody's like, what's wrong with this fucking guy? That's what I thought about.
There's even a universe where the Earth doesn't even exist. So what if he just popped into space and just fucking died?
Yeah,
That'd be horrible.
but that's not where my brain went. My brain went straight to split pea soup atmosphere. I don't know. That's just what I think about. I think about this shit all the time.
Yeah, and then we would say, well, there's a universe where we never met, and I'm like, well, that's a depressing universe. There's a universe where World War II never happened. There's a universe where I never went to military. There's a universe where my parents are still together, and that would be such a depressing universe too, because they didn't really love each other. There's a universe where I only had like no siblings or one sibling, and even then that would be depressing, because I swear to God, my little brother, despite his autism, is so fucking awesome. Like, he can relate all the sound effects of every Star Wars movie ever verbatim.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
So yeah, he is a major Star Wars fan. He considers himself the gray side of the Force.
Well, of course, great. Well, I mean, great Jedis are the coolest Jedis. All the rest of them have their fucking problems. You got your Yoda over here like, we're supposed to be the caretaker. You know what? That's some short-sighted shit there, fucking short round. Why don't you fucking come back when you grow up a little bit in the fucking universe? You little fucking weird frog-looking motherfucker. Fuck you. And then you got other people over there like, I'm all emo and dark. Fuck you too. Go fuck yourself. Why aren't any of you fucking adults? Why can't any of you wipe your own asses? What the fuck is wrong with this universe? Jesus, shit-eating Christ.
Also, if we went into Joey, his name is Joey. I have an older brother named Scotty. Second oldest is John, and my youngest is Joey. And if we were in Joey's universe, I'm pretty sure it'd be a mixture of X-Files, Tales from the Crypt, Star Wars, and Star Trek.
Oh. Tales from the Crypt is my jam.
He loves Tales from the Crypt. I try to watch most of them, but I get really creeped out easily.
Dude,
I'm a scaredy cat.
They're not available for streaming anywhere. You have to actually literally order the fucking DVDs, and I've been eyeing them.
He has the DVDs. He fucking owns every single DVD of Tales of the Crypt.
Oh, you're fucking killing me right now. I've been like, I actually have just a little bit of disposable income this month, and I'm eyeing the fucking Tales of the Crypt like complete collection. Like, oh fuck.
He has it.
Tales from the Crypt.
He'll tell me like all these stories of like famous actors who've been there, and he'll be telling me like interesting things about Tales from the Crypt, and it's his fucking jam.
Yeah,
And his
dude.
other jam is X-Files. His other jam is Star Trek. And
So
his
good.
other one is Star Wars. Like I did get him like the Jedi book, and he's like, "Yeah, but it doesn't tell me anything about the Gray Jedi." I'm like, "I'm sorry, Joey."
Yeah, yeah.
But
Is that Yoda? Is that Yoda right there? All right. So, we're gonna bounce here in just a moment. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything specific, but you did go through a little bit of a loss, a little bit of a tragedy this past week.
yes, I
Um,
did. I found out on Saturday morning that unfortunately my mother passed away.
your biological mother.
My biological mother, yes. And a few weeks earlier than that, I found out that my stepmom, despite having bone marrow cancer, stopped all treatment. She stopped all of it.
Mm.
So my dad's going through a lot of shit right now too.
Right. That's
And
understandable.
I'm trying to be there for them despite being states away.
Right.
But we're getting through. We are doing everything we can, like communication wise. I'm also hoping that my brother calls me back to let me know when they're going to spread my mom's ashes on Lake Superior.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, authorities, please don't arrest my brother, even though he's a corrections officer. Please don't arrest him because apparently that's illegal. What's funny though is my brother went up to Lake Superior recently and it was such a shitty day too. And he's like, "Mom, why the fuck do you want to do this?"
I mean,
mom, like I said, my mom had such a dramatic, dark sense of humor too. And I remember when my mom called, it was just when Trump won. I'm like, I can't believe anyone would vote for him. And my mom's like, I voted for him. I'm like, why? Why did you vote for him? She goes, well, I'm dying anyways. Might as well take you all with me.
She did not. She did not.
She seriously said this. I'm like, Mom, that's not how that works. I mean, what if you die tomorrow and we're stuck with him? She goes, at least you'll feel my pain.
Well, R.I.P. and pepperonis, Yami's mom. My God, that was fucking great. All right. Well, me and Yami are going to go hang out for a little bit, but for everybody watching live, this has been Fascinating People with my friend Yami. I'm really glad we got a chance to finally do this. It means a lot to me.
We were supposed to do this like last month when I
Yeah.
hit 50 followers on Twitch, and I'm like, we'll get there, and then shit happens.
Yeah, it happens a
We're
lot.
procrastinators.
But you know what, the thing is too, doing these interviews actually really helps me, because if I'm going to be doing the documentary soon, I need to brush up on being able to cue and to talk to people and to try and
Oh yeah, definitely.
keep a good conversation going. So you're helping me. So thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
You're the
Seriously,
best.
I really had so much fun. I haven't laughed this much in the last 48 hours. So,
No? Sounds good to me. Well, for everybody out there watching live, goodbye, everybody.
love you lots, Pete. Stay awesome.
Bye, everybody.